Hi, my name is Amy, and I chose to center my Fun to Knowledge project around a Korean high school student. I wanted to learn more about the experiences of being a student in Korea. When I had finished with my interviews, I had learned several things. I had a better understanding of the Korean culture and why academics are so competitive and demanding. I also learned about other aspects that make up a Korean person's identity and ways of being. So I hope you enjoy the presentation. Thank you. My primary informant was Lee Se-na. She is a second grade high school student, which is equivalent to a junior in an American high school. In Korean high schools, there are 3 grades, first, second, and third. Se-na is about 17 years old and she attends a college prep high school in Haenam. This high school's main focus is to prepare students for the college entrance exam that is offered once a year in November. Se-na has grown up around Haenam. She is the youngest of 3 girls, and her father is a minister, and both her parents have traveled to other countries to do work with Korean churches. Se-na spent 4 months in the Philippines, which greatly improved her English fluency. Because of the exposure to other cultures and countries, Se-na has a unique interest in studying and learning to speak English. My secondary informant was Ms. Shin Mi-ae. Ms. Shin is Se-na's homeroom teacher and her English teacher as well. This is her second year teaching at the high school, and before that she taught at Haenam Middle School. There are several reasons why it is important to be informed about the Korean culture. South Korea is its own country with distinct culture, food, traditions, and language. The nation has a rich and interesting history that goes back about 5,000 years. South Korea is located on the bottom of the Korean peninsula that branches out from China. The 2 Koreas are divided at the 38th parallel. Technically, North and South Korea are still at war. No peace treaty was signed and they are currently in a ceasefire. Korea sometimes gets lost between the 2 megacultures of Japan and China, and often Korean people take offense when they are confused as either being Chinese or Japanese. Having a knowledge of the differences between the cultures can help myself and other teachers have a broader cultural knowledge base and avoid stereotypes and generalizations among different Asian cultures. One of the first comments Se-na said to me during our interview was that she needed more free time. This is very understandable since students enrolled at a college preparatory high school are typically in classes from 8 to 10 p.m. Their mandatory classes run from 8 to 5, then they clean the school. After that is their lunch break. The campus is open, so students can come and go during this time. Often they go out to local cafes and eateries to socialize. From 7 to 10 is yaja, which translates to self-study at night. There is flexibility in the self-study schedule for students to participate in extracurricular activities, but they need to be approved of by the parents or teachers first. The reason for the long hours is the college entrance exam. The university entrance is highly competitive due to limited spots. Many students aim for top universities because they want the prestige or desire a particular program. Se-na felt that focusing on the CSAT made education too narrow. She mentioned that she would like it to be more diverse and less test-centered. Confucianism is very prevalent in many Asian countries, including Korea. It is an ethical and philosophical system that originated in China. Some characteristics of the system are very apparent in society, such as the workplace and in family dynamics. In the family, the youngest members are expected to serve older members of the family. Se-na told me that often her older sisters would delegate tasks to her. The same is true in the workplace. Over the years, Confucianism has become very patriarchal, and younger women find themselves at the bottom of the social hierarchy in the professional arena. At school dinners, I often see the younger female teachers setting up and breaking down, as well as having to juggle a heavier workload. Respect for the elderly and general politeness is also taught in Confucianism, but I have noticed that this seems to be breaking down with the rapid development and westernization of Korea. Confucianism is still taught in the public schools in a required ethics class. and teachers are expected to help instill morals and ethics in students. A person's name, both given and family, are very important in Korean culture. The names follow the pattern of family name first, followed by their given name, differing from the Western way of first, then last name. Names are chosen with care when children are born, and their meanings are important to them. I never assign English names to my students unless they ask for one. They take pride in their names, and as Sena said, they give a mother and father hope. During the recent Japanese colonization in the first half of the 20th century, the Japanese forced Koreans to use Japanese names. Family lineage through their family names can be traced back very far. Up until recently, there was a law that you couldn't change your family name, even in marriage and adoption. This was to help preserve records of families and where they came from and to keep track of their social standing. Keeping a pedigree family name meant studying and passing court exams or military exams. A person attended special schools and studied years to pass difficult exams to either become a member of the government or a high-ranking military official. Typically, only members of the government and of high-ranking military personnel could afford to educate their children in the same way. This made social mobility very difficult for members of lower classes, but this was the method by which social mobility was determined. Succeeding on certain exams ensured positions of power, wealth, and a good name. I believe this is why exams and testing is such a strong determining factor for many careers and opportunities in Korea. If you understand the history behind the exams and family nobility, it makes more sense why the high school curriculum is so heavily focused on the CSAT. Haenamup, which means Haenam Town, is the largest city within Haenam County. There are roughly 20,000 to 30,000 people, and it's growing, that live in the Haenam city limits. The province that Haenam is in is called Jeollanam-do. It is the breadbasket of South Korea. The majority of the farms are located in this area. Both of my informants are originally from this area. In fact, my informant, Ms. Shin, attended Haenam High School when she was a student. I took a walk around town one day so I could get some photographs. This is Haenam High School. The school is about 70 years old, and this year they decided to build a whole new building. Where the original school stands, they will demolish it and probably put in a sports field. Korea has a really great cafe culture. There are many different cafe companies that are all really good. It is different from the US in a sense that here the cafes typically don't open early for the morning rush. They open later and are more for socializing and catching up with friends. I took Sena here to Cafe Betty for our second interview, kind of as a thank you for taking time out of her day to help me with the project. And she wanted to order the honey caramel toast, which is pictured here. The picture on the bottom left is of the Cultural Center. Art, theater, music, and other events are hosted at this building. Around the Cultural Center are strings of yellow stars. They serve as a memorial and remembrance to the more than 250 high school students who passed away in the ferry accident on April 16th of this year. They were on a school trip headed to the island of Jeju-do. This slide is just of some pictures from around town. The top left is a picture of the traditional market. You can buy produce, fish, meat, and other traditional cooking ingredients here. The bottom left is a picture of a neighborhood park. There are several throughout the town. In the middle, there is a picture of a typical traditional Korean home. Most of the population of Korea, and even of Haenam, live in high-rise apartment buildings, but there are more traditional homes in the less urbanized areas. The bottom right is of a Dunkin' Donuts in Haenam. There is a Skechers store and a Guess Jeans store across the street. All of these businesses are relatively new to the area, but they represent a lot of Western influences that are pretty much throughout all of South Korea. Well, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.